Hi, welcome to the award-winning Ed Brown Show. And what we have to do, we're going to let you know what's going on the last couple days. What? Yes, another grandson, Andros. There he is. I mean, he came 2 weeks early, but what happened? I'm accustomed to have 7 grandchildren and 1 great granddaughter. Well, hey, this is the Ed Brown Show, and we're supposed to be bringing guests here. Well, he was an uninvited guest. And we have Temesha McNeill here, and she's a young lady that's out there in the corporate world. She's working with the churches. She has so many things that she's been involved in. You know, the mentoring aspects, you know how I think about mentoring, you know. You got to get ready, you know, and nobody giving you nothing, and finance is the way. Jamaica, wait, I mean, just what's going on here? You got Temesha McNeill. What is it?
It's Temesha.
Temesha.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
well, I'm excited there, you know, grandchildren. I've been up 2 nights. But anyway.
It's okay. I have been there before myself with
So you
those
understand
nights.
what I'm
I
what
absolutely
I'm
do
saying.
understand. I have 2 kids.
But anyway, tell us a little bit about your background. It's amazing. You know, I was really impressed with the things that, and one of the major items that I feel, you probably don't feel that way, is the fact that you were in the corporate world. And see, that's where the action is, you know, when you talk about finance. You're with the background and you're out there doing other things. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Brown, for the compliment. I mean, that means a lot coming from someone like yourself who's been heavily involved in the community for years. So I am overwhelmed with that compliment. I would share with you, though, that I've been in corporate America for over 21 years.
Wow.
My background is financial services.
Watch your back, right?
I've had the opportunity to retire with one financial service industry, and then I moved on to another particular corporation. But I'll tell you that part of that retirement, I really am in a place where I want to take my gifts, and I have the gift of leadership and the gift of organized management, and I want to share it with ministries. I want to share it with senior pastor leadership teams, and I want to help our community. I want to make a difference, and I know that working with those ministries, working with the churches, and ensuring that we're looking at process improvement and ensuring that we are looking at the way that we manage our business side of our churches, right? And also just ensuring that we are building solid teams that are going to be able to drive results and ensure that they're productive. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm taking my gifts. I started my own company called TSM Consulting Services, and I've made it a pact that I only work with the churches. I only work with ministries, walking in my purpose. I've been in corporate America, and I have done just about everything under the sun. I have managed small teams. I've managed very large teams, teams that's been up in numbers around 130 or so. So I've had the opportunity to really implement change and manage change for the corporations. And now I want to just simply take my gifts and use it in the kingdom.
Fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Now tell us, your qualifications in the corporate world are so very important, and the young people out there don't realize that you have to prepare yourself
Absolutely.
for that type, academic and financially, for that type of position. Because like I said, you know, watch your back, you know, in the corporate world, you know, they, you know, when it comes to money and we want this contract, anything goes, you know. Tell us a little bit about how you got steered into the corporate world and the types of things that young people need to emphasize if they want to be a CEO.
Oh, you know what? I'm so glad that you asked that question. A couple of things that I would share with everyone, just a little bit about my background. I did attend Norfolk State University, and I say that not just to say, behold the green and the gold, but to promote education. We definitely want to ensure that we are preparing ourselves so that we can compete once we are there within corporate America. And that foundation does start with an education. So I strongly encourage our young people to definitely prepare themselves within the classroom. That's where it starts at. Another piece, though, that I would really hone in on that I really think is overlooked a lot is the ability to network, the ability to be able to speak and get to know other people. Because sometimes it's not, we all know that saying, it's not just what you know, it's sometimes who you know, but it's also who knows what you know, right? So that's what I would add to that. So it's important that young people are able to articulate their skills, that they're able to articulate what they can offer and bring to the table. I have met some really talented people, very smart. I mean, very smart, where they could really come into a position and just run with it. But unfortunately, I've sat at a table where we've been unable to hire them simply because they're unable to articulate their own strengths. And one of the things that I like to hone in on when it comes to mentorship, I've been mentoring for years, for over 20 years, mentoring. One of the things that I hone in is that you have to be able to sell yourself. And I like to really kind of pride myself on that. I'm really proud of the fact that I learned early on the ability to articulate and sell myself. And sometimes you got to sell yourself even when you might fall a little short. You still got to be able to sell yourself in reference to the strengths that you can bring, but also be able to articulate your opportunities. You know, you got to be able to say, you know, these are some things that I'm working on, but here's the plan of how I'm going to get better. I know that when I'm interviewing someone for a position, I always ask, you know, can you tell me one or two of your opportunities? What I'm really looking for is not so much where they fall short, but how are they planning to be better at that? What steps have they taken? What steps are they planning to take? Because what that does for me as a leader is shows me that you're able to build a good action plan. If you can't build a good action plan for yourself, then you certainly can't come onto my team and build an action plan for a broad team, a bigger mission at hand. So when I'm asking that question around, tell me about your strengths, tell me about your opportunities, that's one of the things that I'm really honing in on. And I would say to young people, you know, get that education, but you've got to get off that cell phone sometimes and get off that email and get off that text and pick up that phone and be able to verbally sell yourself.
Right. Now, that's one thing, too, that they themselves, they have the difficulty of peer pressure. How do you get what you're saying over to the youngsters when they have that peer pressure on them, you know, against various things that would be positive as far as advancement concerned?
Wow, you know, we're really touching on some really important things here. What I would tell you is when it comes to peer pressure, the first thing I always share with people is letting them know that I've been there. I think it's important to let people know, especially our young people, they can sometimes see us on a pedestal. And they don't believe, and we sometimes portray as adults, you know, that I've always had it going on. I've always been well put together. And we have to let that guard down as adults and let them know that some of the things that you are facing with your peer pressure, I have too. And these are some of the steps that I've taken along my journey. I think our own personal story is the biggest impact that we can share with truth. I mean, truth. Truth. These are some of the challenges that I had. These are some of the things that I've done. But you too can overcome these things. And let me tell you some of the things that I've done. And I think that's important that we're that honest with our young people.
Well, one thing too is that most young people out there, especially getting in the corporate world, one of the things is the financing situation, problem that they have, and their ability to adjust from defeat. In other words, you're not going to be just walk out there and, you know, and go to the top of the boardroom, you know, as the chairman. You have to earn it.
Yes.
In other words, you earn it, and how do you earn it in corporate America? You production. I mean, what can you do for me? Because I'm just like you said. What is your approach to a problem? How are you going to solve it? Are you ready to be in a position where your idea is not accepted, but you have to make adjustments? Can you make those type of adjustments? Are you prepared for that? Most of them are not. They go out, they get, first of all, they have difficulty in financing their business, whatever it is, and then once they get in, well, this idea that I have is the alpha and omega, is nothing better, you know, and they get shot down in the boardroom, you know, whereas that already has been tried. Say, you know, you got anything else? How do you deal with that?
Wow. You know, one of the things that I often like to share with young people is I'm a big advocate of a team. Very big advocate of a team. So I often tell young people that when you walk into corporate America, your ability to work on a team is very important. A matter of fact, it's critical. When you think of a corporation, there is no I in team. We all hear that all the time, and it's very true. And when you think about the size of the corporation that you are entering, I think that plays a big part. But when we're talking about large-scale corporations, we're talking about teams. Anything that I have ever accomplished that was a major accomplishment within my career, I've never done it by myself. It's always been amongst a team. So I would say to that particular young person that they would really have to take a step back and really reevaluate working with a team.
With themselves.
With themselves, with a team.
Most of the people, that young people I find, you know, they want to, this is mine, I can do it, I don't need anyone's help. But see, it doesn't work that way in the corporate world. And a corporation is one of the major items. Are you able to work with other people in a professional manner, you know, without destroying the project through attitude?
That's right. That's right. No, you said it best. I like the fact that you said destroy the project. I call that bad apple. You know, are you going to be the bad apple on the team? And if you are, well, we all know what we do with bad apples. You know, one of the things that you have to keep in mind when working in corporation, what you won't do, somebody else will do. I've always said that. It's the truth. No matter how talented you are, what you won't do, somebody else will do. And that often motivates even me myself. You know, maybe I don't agree with something that took place within a meeting, but you know, one of the things that I've learned along the way from myself being mentored, me being mentored, is you earn the right for people to listen to your voice. And how do you earn that right where people want to hear what you have to say? Is through production, is through your results.
Right. And
over the years. So, you know, 20 years ago in corporate America, the weight of my opinion wasn't as big. But now, 21 years later, and me being considered an expert within the field of strategic planning and the expert in the field of team building and execution, well, I've kind of earned the right that if I maybe disagree with something, to kind of raise my hand and say, let me add another point, and let me add another value point. Maybe I can make another suggestion based upon my previous experience. And I would agree with you 100% that our young people would have to learn to make those type of adjustments. And I think our young people are coming out of college. They're fired up. Man, they're coming to the table with some very innovative ideas. So I certainly wouldn't say that they don't have value add, because they do. And I love the fact that they are coming so hungry with a new way of doing things. And I certainly welcome it. When I have someone that's in front of me that's interviewing and maybe they're not as seasoned as some other people would be on our team, I welcome their ideas, because these young people are being exposed to a different level than we were, than I
Exactly.
was, you know,
Exactly.
coming out of college. A lot of things I learned once I got to the position, a lot of the equipment, a lot of the technology pieces I learned as I went through the
Exactly.
position. That's not the case now.
No.
These kids are coming out actually knowing a
Exposure.
little bit more
Yeah, exposure.
than other people
Right.
on my team who've been there for 15, 20 years, including myself. And so not only the young people have to make an adjustment, but I also challenge us, you know, all of us who have been quote unquote seasoned, we have to make an adjustment too and be open to the ideas that our young people are sharing. And I know this for a fact because let me tell you, Mr. Brown, I run into this when I'm out speaking with pastors. I'm out talking to ministry leaders around, hey, let me help you with your ministry. Let me help you build a solid team. Let me help you with your next big vision, the execution of it. And I'm not always welcome.
Well,
You know,
sure.
they're used
Right.
to doing it
Doing
a
the-
certain way.
right. That's it.
We've always done it this way. And I like to challenge people that, well, things have changed. And if we want to continue to see our ministries grow and continue to see our kingdom grow, we've got to make some adjustments with the way that we
Are doing things.
and
accept change.
and
See,
accept change. So it goes both ways.
Right, because one of the things that I just recall is that in churches the dress code has changed.
Yes.
I remember grandmother and all the big hats and all of this, and the formality of religion has changed. Young people have brought their ideas in. But before I want to get into this subject matter because I know that you have run into it and that you know how to handle the sex approach to being accepted. I think that I was just reading in the Wall Street Journal about the percentage of females and how they, you know, continually are not accepted in the business world, regardless of their knowledge. Tell us a little bit about that's a hurdle that young ladies have to realize is still live and kicking.
Oh, yes, it is. Very much so. There's so many hurdles when it comes to being a woman in corporate America and being a wife and being a mom and having all of those responsibilities take a part and still wanting to be very successful. One of the things that I know that have helped me along this journey when I felt like a couple of times I'm not fitting in is one, be open. I tell people that I mentor, you know, women, and I mentor some men too, but I mentor majority women, and majority are African American women, that we have to be open
Well, that's
to change.
another
We have to be open
another
to change.
hurdle. that you
Yes,
have-
another hurdle.
Right.
And just from a culturally base, we are different. The way that we respond, it is different. Not necessarily bad, just different.
Different.
And I always tell people, you got to be open, though, to make the adjustments when needed. But don't lose yourself. Don't lose your strength in the process of being open. And I wish I could say I woke up that way and just it came to me. It didn't. It came to me through mentorship. You know, as I've been traveling on this journey, I've always had multiple mentors, other women who were doing what I wanted to do. And they were able to plant seeds as well within me that gave me that advice of, I hear you, Temesha, but be open, be willing to make the adjustments as needed, and don't lose yourself within the adjustments. Don't lose your strength.
But be able to be, you know, to the point that you don't lose your point and you don't compromise your point.
Don't compromise.
But the thing that I see, and we're really guilty of it in the churches, is that the acceptability of pastor being female. How do you approach that?
Well, I approach it the same way that I would coach someone on my team within corporate America. I would also have an open dialogue with that senior pastor again around being open. When that's such a touchy area, that I find it very disappointing that we would have that type of
Still have that.
discrimination
Yes, right.
within the kingdom.
Right, exactly.
I find it
and
very,
that's supposed to be an example there.
right. It can be very discouraging. I'd like to believe, though, that we've taken a lot of steps in the right direction within our ministries to accept women as leaders, as well as preachers and ministers and pastors within our churches. I'm real big about the fact that leaders and pastor, it's hand in hand. A pastor is a leader. So when we are saying that we're unable to accept women as pastors, we're really saying too that they're unable to be leaders. And I sit here before you amongst many other women and say, I don't think so. We make great leaders as women, and we have great vision as well that we can provide for the kingdom.
Yeah, because some churches have discrimination on positions, and I think one of the deacons, like you can't be a deacon, or a certain or trustee or something like that if you're female.
Well, you and I both know, Mr. Brown, we'd probably be talking for days and hours trying to solve world peace there.
Right.
But, certainly it can be challenging. I know from my interactions that I've been having with senior pastors and a lot of ministry leaders, we've come a long way. I actually haven't had any type of dialogue with any of my clients in reference to, do they support women pastors. I see on their leadership teams that they do have women pastors. I think this is a great point as well, that we want to encourage more women pastors. We would definitely encourage more women to really step up and take lead in some of our churches. And I know I have a couple of friends who are associate ministers on some staff. So, definitely there's still some opportunity out there, but certainly I know that a lot of ministries have taken a step in the right direction.
Well, what about the financial aspects of the churches? I hear, and everyone knows the different attempts to get equal rights started in the churches and things of that nature. And some people feel that if the church is not participating in the financial aspects of the community, because before earlier in civil rights, they dealt with the fact that the greatest corporation that African Americans had was the church. That was the only organization that they had control of the finances. Whereas as far as other corporations are concerned, and they weren't recognized. And some people feel that the churches should get more involved in the financial aspects of the community, more so than what they're doing. Sure, they give the charities and things of that nature, but getting the churches, and some churches are involved in the financial world right now. As far as I think one of them is Catholic Church is involved in the finance, and some people feel that other churches they're fragmented. In other words, if the church organizes the finance, they'd be more effective.
A lot of good points that I heard within your description there. But I would honestly tell you that that wouldn't be something that I would be comfortable with stating, this is my opinion or how I see it. I think at this particular point, what we all would agree on is that we all have opinions in reference to how that should be managed within the church.
Right.
But there's one point that I would certainly meet you at.
But wouldn't you use your corporate experience, successes, and things like that as examples for the churches to follow?
I would absolutely use those as examples. And one of the points that I would make to your point is why I'm doing what I'm doing, why I started TSM Consulting Services and said, hey, I'm only going to work with churches because of what you said, a couple of things. I believe that the church is the foundation to the community. I believe that the church is the strength to our families. They go hand in hand. If the family is strong, the church is strong. If the church is strong, the family is strong. I have a strong passion, let's just say that, around the strength of our families. And I know that one of the best angles for me to take is the management of our churches and the spirit of excellence, and also looking at how are we utilizing our resources. So for once, I don't want to meet with more friends and have dinner and say all the things that are wrong with the church. I raised my hand about 2 years ago and said, you know what? I have been able to successfully help corporate America. It is now time that I take my God-given gifts and go to the church and say, let me help you. So that's why I'm here with you today.
Exactly.
What you just said.
The uniqueness of that. That's what I'm impressed with, that, because that's something that's, like you say, is very sensitive. But the resources you mentioned,
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I have ran into that a lot of our churches, some of our churches maybe don't have the resources available to them, or maybe the resources are sometimes financially a strain on some of our churches. So what I wanted to do was simply make myself available. I'm available for churches when it comes to strategic planning, when it comes to process improvement, when it also comes to conferences. If they're looking to do a conference, we just launched our first conference, TSM Consulting, and it's called Moms Rocks. You know, I did that just this past Saturday, and that's the first series to many other conferences that are on the way. And the reason why we started with moms, think about that strengthening of the family. Right? So we want to eventually have dads rocks, kids rocks, family rocks. And when you think about my mission statement, TSM Consulting, my mission statement is to effectively help churches as well as families manage with the spirit of excellence. Now, you and I had a great conversation around the importance of execution and driving results. It's no different in the church. You know, I get people tap me all the time and say, you know, well, Temesha, church is not a business. It's not in certain aspects, but it is in some. People want to be a part of productive ministries. There's no dancing around it. People want to be a part of ministries that are effectively participating in outreach ministries, that are effectively having conferences, campaigns, workshops in reference to helping our community, because as we've already indicated, the church is the foundation and the backbone of our community. But unfortunately, you and I have seen that some of our churches don't have as big of an impact as they can have. And I think that a lot of that comes from, you know, not having the resources available to them that can help them build effective teams to help them make a difference. So that's why I'm here.
Well, togetherness, wouldn't that be a key to that? If more churches, you know, got resources, a pool of resources to the point that they start controlling things in their own community.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you. It's no different that even in corporate America, we combine our resources with multiple departments. That's how we've been able to accomplish so many new innovative ideas. Every project I've ever been on, it's always multiple departments that play a part in making it successful. I do believe that's the exact same thing within our ministries.
And having you on, you're a great example in many ways, as far as the planning, as far as corporate America is concerned, because I think we need to emphasize the corporate American aspect in the African American community and be part of it, not just support it. This has been Ed Brown. Hey, we're going to have Ms. McNeill back again, and we're going to talk about the mentoring. You know, she does that too. See you next time.